Well, the election meltdowns continue. Again, I realize I am Uncle Rico throwing the football over the mountain from Napoleon Dynamite, reliving the glory days.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains?
But when you have the likes of David Pakman, and here we have Sam Seder melting down on election day, it's just too fun and too many people enjoy them. So you have to give the audience what they desire. So here we go.
It is Tuesday, November 5th, 2024. My name is Sam Seder. This is the 5-time award-winning Majority Report. We are broadcasting live steps from the industrially ravaged Gowanus Canal in the heartland of America, downtown Brooklyn, USA. On the show today, it's Election Day. Go vote and then get ready for a night that may last for 2 weeks. Also on the program today, final polls show Harris with a small national lead, and Nevada guru John Ralston has Harris ahead by a hair in Nevada.
He's got a great track record.
Huge track.
Totally great track record. I mean, all your left-leaning prediction pollsters that you're citing totally came through for you.
Record. Florida and Tech. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much for joining us. It is
Election Day.
I mentioned on the show yesterday that my mother has passed, and I'm going to head to Massachusetts tomorrow morning early for her funeral. Appreciate all the condolences. Iowa's not really purple. Truly. I don't know what the color is. You know, maybe it's like more plum.
Plum? I'm pretty sure it's dark red.
Than purple. But
another great prediction.
If a place like Iowa swings to Kamala Harris, it's going to create a real. There's going to be a.
For the record, they're talking about the Ann Seltzer poll that an Iowa resident pollster there did, where she favored Kamala Harris to win by 3. Kamala ended up losing by 13, meaning the poll was 16 points off. And this was just election interference. It was meant to bolster enthusiasm amongst Kamala Harris supporters and Democrats in general across the nation. So that's what that was. That's what he's referring to.
Real civil war in the Republican Party. If not, if she wins like Biden did, which again, remember, he won, 303 electoral votes, but it was really like 40,000 votes could have swung a different way in about four or 5 states. And
he won Arizona by like only around a little over 10,000, Georgia by under 12K. I mean, these were significant states for him.
And if they lose a place like Iowa, then you're going to really see a legit, what do you call it? A meltdown.
Yeah, I mean,
a meltdown. I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to experience here. So stay tuned to the end of the video.
Look, like, in which, God, we pray for a meltdown. But, like,
I am praying for that.
The story is going to be independent women, in my view, independent white women, but independent women more broadly, just because of the states that matter, that, like Iowa, for example, that's a heavily white state. And there all indications are that in the South, that black voter turnout is exactly very similar to Biden, right? And there was a lot of tough talk from the Trump campaign that they were going to make all these gains with black voters, and it hasn't shown up thus far.
Really?
But we'll see.
Is that accurate?
We'll see.
You want to hold on to that statement?
More confident than what the national pollsters have said for quite a while, but
of course, because you're in your own echo chamber, consuming your own refuse, and that's goes into your belief system, and this is what you're propagating out to your naive and low IQ audience.
I don't want to count my chickens before they roost.
If Donald Trump wins, and
good news. That's good news. I agree.
Which is more than likely to happen if he wins. It's very possible they may take the Senate even if Harris wins. It's going to be
spit it out
a disaster, I think, in ways that we can't really fully comprehend.
You mean getting rid of all the left-wing graft that exists in the government, as Elon Musk is right now doing in Doge, being able to return that money to taxpayers rather than having it go to pay for DEI in Serbia or transgender operas in Peru? That would be a disaster that we can't fully comprehend unless you're sane, in which case you're in favor of it. Thumb up if you agree.
If you look at how many former Trump officials, cabinet members, are coming out against him now, and I don't care about these people beyond the fact that, you know, I don't care.
That they agree with you?
But
that they agree with you?
It's indicative of like the normie Republicans who are horrible in and of themselves.
Yes, we're all horrible. I used to be a Democrat, but now that I've switched teams because I saw the graft of the Democratic Party all those years ago, now the nation's catching up to what I saw as I was paying attention, we're all horrible. This is why these lefties are so far out there. They're horrible by virtue of the fact that you wear a red shirt.
Not going to be staffing this administration. They have already figured out who they need to bring in. Trump already knows what he can get away with or where the new lines are drawn. In terms of the courts, forget about it.
Forget about it.
Decades.
Another generation or two.
That's right. Forget about it.
He's talked about injecting bleach in a global pandemic. He
Lies.
cut taxes for the wealthy, a majority of which...
Trump never said to inject bleach. This is just another left-wing lie that she's repeating. Is she stupid or is she a liar? That's the game we should play, stupid or liar. Leave it in the comments which one you guys think it is.
Went to the top 1%.
We should say
the number of insured people dropped under the Trump administration because of the way that they messed with Obamacare. Gosh, what else?
Such
I
a
mean,
great
like, there's
program.
just so much that we need to remember
every
of
single
how
country it's tried.
awful and how that time was and how easy it is for him to break things. But
do these people not seem incredibly sad to you? Just like miserable people. There's not any joy within them. Look at the way she talks. Listen to her voice. It's sad for me to watch it.
yeah, I mean, hopefully, I think people understand that.
all right, let's
The three closest elections in the history of the country. All of the picks in the 7 swing states are toss-ups and could go either way. I've
Not
gone
really.
back and forth on many of these picks, and I've never felt as little confidence in my picks as I feel today. Have Harris winning with
Whoa,
270
wait a
electoral-
second.
Uh-oh. Not good.
Really?
Not
That's
good.
scary.
That is totally scary.
Well, I'm just trying to be honest here.
No,
I mean,
An individual voter doesn't have complete confidence that Harris is going to win. That's super scary, guys. It's like a home intruder breaking into your house with a couple of his friends in the middle of the night. Very scary.
Appreciate the honesty, John.
yeah, I mean, it's been so close. I mean, like, but like Georgia and Nevada were the two closest states that I really had a hard time picking. But let's see. So out of the 7 swing states, I have Harris winning Pennsylvania by 1.2, Wisconsin by 1.7, Michigan by 1.4. Could be necessary for Harris to win Nebraska's 2nd district to get to 270 electoral votes. I think she'll win by 10 points there. Have Trump winning by 0.1 in Georgia, 0.6 in Nevada, 0.4 in Arizona, and 1 point in North Carolina.
By the way, shout out to Based Life Guru who put this compilation together.
Unfortunately, I have Republican Bernie Moreno beating Democrat Sherrod Brown by 0.8
Look at them shaking
in
their heads.
Ohio.
No,
I think
no.
Colin Allred will surprise some people.
Wait, you have
And-
Marino beating Sherrod Brown?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he's had some real bad polls. He's had a very bad October, Sherrod Brown. Also, in the last couple weeks of September weren't so great for me either. I also have let's see, where am I? Yeah, Colin Allred, I think, will surprise some people and only lose by 1 point. Tester and Osborne in Nebraska
That didn't
lose
exactly
by 3.
happen.
Mercosal Powell
Way more than
lose
3.
by 4. Republicans have gained on Democrats.
Your take on the Seltzer poll? You think it's an outlier, or do you think
This is
it's an
what I
indication of
described
something?
earlier.
Like I've been hinting at.
Yeah, I remember. If you remember last week, I actually referenced Seltzer. Yeah, I mean, it made me open my eyes up a little bit, and I think the margins will be closer.
Not really.
But yeah, I don't think Harris is going to win Iowa. I mean, it's just.
Well,
it's
but
just
I
too
mean,
much.
if she comes in, well, I mean, the problem with that is like, is it just a function of that 6-week abortion ban? Is that why, I mean, if she comes within even like
Hang on to the hope. Hang on to the hopium, buddy.
a couple of points, that's crazy.
Like Trump they released the internal that they say they have him at +5 in Iowa. That's still an awful result for him.
He won by 13.
Yeah. I mean, things have definitely
Keep going with
moved
your sad-ass
towards
predictions.
Harris. I mean, like last week when I called in, 5 out of 7 aggregators had Trump winning. Right now, only one of those 7 aggregators has Trump winning. I mean, so it's been a complete shift.
The fact is that there is one political party that is identitarian, and that is the
Really?
Republican Party.
Really? The Republican Party are the identitarians after the Democrats have preached nothing but race and tried to divide the nation and employed DEI, which literally filters out people for jobs based specifically on their skin color?
Is it 86%? 90%? I don't know what the latest is. White party. We need to have some time to prep for tonight.
Did you want to do our predictions?
And before we go,
Yeah.
we're going to
that'll
do
be
our
good.
predictions.
I'm going to hold you to them.
Who wants to go first? Let's let Emma go first because she's so jonesing to do this.
I mean,
You're
look,
like created in a
I
lab.
bet you the map is going to be all red.
to predict
Sarcasm.
elections. I mean, so I get it. It's a little bit of the gambling thing, or I like to win. I'm competitive, right? So this is where it shows itself.
An irresistible internet lure.
What? Is anybody else out there laughing?
One of the guys that
Explain the
Tim
joke to
Pool
me.
said was one of the reasons, like all these
one of the guy
liberals
who's left
are
the left.
moving to the Republican Party. I just this entire time
Here we go, guys.
I have been very skeptical for months at this point about claims that Trump is ahead or that this race is close. And if Kamala
You're right,
Harris
it's
ends up
not
winning
close.
big, a lot of the narrative is going to be, wow, that Madison Square Garden rally really did them in. Wow,
yeah.
Donald Trump closed poorly. He's been closing awfully. And there's a lot of truth to
That's
that,
just
right?
the
that helped
left-wing
her campaign.
propaganda that you're just
But
regurgitating.
There is also
from your
truth to the
echo
fact
chamber.
that this is the first election.
Shifty shift. That's what I call him. Shifty shift. And you seen his neck?
He also doesn't have
What
the
a
juice,
horrible
right? I
impression.
mean, there's that. But this is the first election post-Roe, presidential election post-Roe, and the first presidential election after January 6th. And those are two things that really motivate independent voters. And I think that's been underestimated the entire time for pollsters that bake in a shy Trump vote that I don't believe exists anymore. These pollsters took the lesson from the pandemic that, it was just like 2016. We thought Biden would win by bigger margins because there's always going to be this quiet Trump support. I think that was more a function of the pandemic. And I think that's what they're going to get wrong. But really, at the end of the day, is like, it's not just that Trump closed poorly. It's that women are pissed.
Pissed at at
there are
what?
going to be a lot of, in my
At
view,
not being able
older
to kill their
women that
babies?
see the right
Because the decision on abortion went to the states. And this is what women are so pissed about.
of their daughters and granddaughters slipping away that are Republican women and independent women. That will be the deciding factor in this election. So I posted my map
decided
on Sunday,
correctly.
I think she sweeps all swing states. It's all 7.
All
And
7.
I also
Wow.
think she wins
Good
Iowa.
prediction.
I'm not joking. I truly
Whoa.
think that this is going to be
Whoa, she's going to win
much
Iowa,
more
guys.
like Obama than 2016 or Obama. The dynamics are closer to an Obama 2012 race because she's basically
And we should continue to listen to these people because of what reason? They predictions that they are creating are just so far off. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see the meltdown. Stay tuned.
A new figurehead at the top of like a campaign that was set up to run for an incumbent. So there's that infrastructural point. But I almost I get panicked saying that because I want that to be the outcome, obviously. But it's also just honestly what I think. And I think my gut's been kind of right for this cycle. So I'm just going with it. And I think
the gut of an incredibly miserable person is rarely correct. I refuse to believe that she's happy. Have you known many leftists that are happy in their core and that exude joy? They don't exist. Unless they're out killing babies, of course.
And then it's a 50-50 Senate. I think the Democrats take back the House fairly easily.
Fairly easily. Good
have
predictions.
Around a 12
this is great.
Seat advantage.
Woo, good prediction.
Anybody else want to go next? I mean,
I'm not predicting.
I have been saying.
Also, I think Sherrod Brown wins. I totally disagree with John on that.
Yep,
oh boy.
You're going to get that one right too.
I have.
Spit it out, Sam.
I've been thinking for a while. It's either going to be like Emma says, or a thin Trump victory. I don't think Harris wins by a small margin. I think if she wins, she actually gets more electoral votes than Biden did. But I am even more convinced that the Democrats will hold on to the Senate. But I think Ted Cruz is going to lose.
He's going to lose.
And that is just like a gut feeling like.
That's a risky one.
But I will say this. I have a lot less confidence in my prediction than Emma does. Because I still, again, the interview I remember as vividly as any was the Princeton professor who was here, I think, the day before the election saying Hillary Clinton 95%. So I have no idea. But
Hillary did not have enthusiasm on her side.
Oh, no. I can come up with 100.
Nor did Hillary have the joy on her side. Don't forget about all the joy that the media told us Kamala Harris represented.
Reasons why this is different. But also, and again, the theory that we had about Harris before she became the nominee was Republicans are going to have a tough time running against her because they're going to waste a month or two trying not to be racist. We predicted that.
You don't have to be racist to denigrate Kamala Harris. She can barely complete a sentence. She's a low IQ person. She did nothing in office. She's a liar. Why would anybody have to be racist if they wanted to run a negative campaign against her? Please explain.
I think pretty well. And I think Americans, a certain cohort of Americans, have an easier time acting on their misogyny than they do on their practice of white supremacy.
Yes, we're all white supremacists and misogynists. Thank you again.
I think that...
I'm sorry. I do not like people that continually denigrate voters and accuse them of misogyny and racism if they don't agree with them.
That dynamic may... It's counterintuitive, but may have blunted some of the misogyny in that people are afraid to feel like they are racist, particularly in an environment where Donald Trump's racism is so...
It's all racism. Racism everywhere.
Overt and grotesque and obvious.
Totally.
And to your...
Totally. He slaps black men in the faces and uses the N-word in front of the public. I mean, the racism is so obvious and prevalent. It's just, I mean, how can people not see it?
Point. Donald Trump has made no effort to counter the claims that he's a massive bigot. In fact, they've only
Zero.
amplified in the final weeks of the election.
Oh, of course,
so people
because
don't
we're going to listen to you and your crazy asses.
As voting for a racist. And you have to give them some semblance of plausible deniability.
Well, exactly.
And
exactly.
We'll see. But what's your prediction for the map then, besides the Senate race? Do you think Osborne and Testerholt win too?
Yes.
Wow.
I think, well, let me put it this way. If Trump wins, we have lost, and we will continue to lose. And we have no opportunity to win. It is really just about mitigating losses.
What swing states do you think she wins and loses?
I think she wins the 6 swing states. Arizona, no. But that, I believe, takes her into...
So Harris wins 6 swing states, according to Sam. And according to Emma, she wins all 7 plus Iowa. Just so we all remember these predictions.
More
Past
electoral...
300.
yes, and like 306, right? As opposed to like 303? I'm not sure.
Because Biden lost North Carolina, which has a few more electoral
I think
votes.
she wins North Carolina.
Yeah.
And
For sure.
And not necessarily Arizona.
Or one fewer, sorry. Arizona has 11 electoral votes. North Carolina has 15. So I think that maybe would put her at 207. 307.
Right. So I think, but who knows? What is that? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It is Tuesday. Still, November 5th, 2024. This is the 5-time award-winning Majority Report.
Who awarded them?
Just to let you know what we anticipate tonight. It's going to be a total shit show. And this is, think of this as a watch party. It's going to start off as a show.
Watching you melt down.
And then just degrade as the evening goes on. But hopefully we'll end on a positive note.
We will. Trump will win. Yeah, clap for Trump. Wearing my orange-red shirt
in
here.
a lot of wrong ways.
Come on, Georgia, don't mess up the whole
And I think right now, after all of the claims of fraud, the baseless garbage from Trump, these pollsters
Everything
are
that Trump
afraid
says is
to
baseless
come out
garbage,
and
according to you.
Maybe make some of these proclamations. They're baking in a core Republican support, shy Trump vote that I just don't think exists anymore. I think we're looking
Thank
at
you for
more
your
of
excellent
a
prediction,
shy
Emma.
Harris vote, independent or Republican women that are.
I wish that there was such a thing as a shy Harris vote. I wish that there was a preference falsification for Harris supporters where they would be ashamed to vote Democrat. Perhaps that's coming up because the only thing that the woke did was try to cancel anybody that might be leaning red or have a red thought in their mind, and they would try to get them fired from their job. Thus, there was preference falsifications where you publicly state what you don't really believe because you're afraid of the consequences. Let's do that to Harris voters so that they're ashamed to be voting blue, which they should be, especially based on the fact that all of the fraud that we've uncovered with USAID, etc.
Afraid to maybe tell their husbands. That's why that ad hit so close to home. They're going to the polls and voting for Harris, and some of these pollsters aren't picking up on it. So I've predicted a 7-state swing state sweep for Harris.
Great prediction,
Holy
Emma.
shit, I hope I'm right. And let's have some fun. Kamala Harris is going to win that one handily. So Georgia's the one that we have to worry about at this moment.
And
I think that's taken.
Kamala Harris has won Vermont. No surprise. The big thing, I think, the big shocker, of course, will be Iowa, if that actually happens,
Yep.
and we'll find out.
And I'm not worried about Sherrod Brown. It's like Sherrod Brown is Teflon. He just seems to be okay and survives every election cycle, no matter how favorable to Republicans. And a reminder, the conditions in this race are not favorable to Republicans. That's what's been driving and what was driving our coverage about trying to force Biden to drop out. It was any generic Democrat polled around 4 points ahead of Donald Trump. And you know what PBS Maris released yesterday? Kamala Harris 4 points ahead of Donald Trump. So
that
it's
couldn't
still
be
on
propaganda,
track.
could it?
We're just waiting for the results to roll in.
I think she's going to win the popular vote easily.
They're not programming yet. I don't know why that is showing the results.
All right, you want to go through, because this is garbage, whatever.
What
this
is going on here with our Milwaukee showing up late helps them create a narrative that there's something going on here. There's some type of chicanery. And you may not be aware of this.
No, Democrats have never committed chicanery in the history of the 21st century. Certainly, they did not accuse Donald Trump of Russia collusion, run that through the media that they own for 3 straight years. They did not state that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation and then prevent people from spreading that fact on Twitter. Not to mention galvanizing the rioters in the 2020 BLM/Antifa riots. There's never been anything that the Democrats have done of ill repute or that's even been questionable.
But the Supreme Court right now sucks. And
no, it's really good, actually.
He helped get elected in 2016. Donald Trump. It's the same Republican Party. It's just a guy that fit the suit, as Sam has said millions of times. They created the conditions for Donald Trump, and now, tonight, I am praying that they get kicked in the fucking teeth.
You're so sick. You're such a kind person. So kind, so
I'm
joyful.
that.
yeah.
Thank you.
Mark Robinson lost in North Carolina.
The black Nazi. If Mark Robinson is losing this early, this means good things for Kamala Harris.
I'm pretty sure she's going to take North Carolina. Come
But,
on.
Have you guys met a Trump supporter in 2024? They're not shy. They want to tell you. They put 1 million signs out on their lawn. They're, this is a party that is only appealing to its base. And we saw that in the final weeks of the race. We saw that with the Madison Square Garden basically ode to the Nazi rally from 80.
Oh, completely. It was all Nazis. That's why you saw so many Israeli flags there, because those things fly very well amongst those who worship a man named Adolf.
5 years ago, I mean, they were deliberately invoking that and saying everything that they could about Palestinians, about Jews, about, of course, Puerto Ricans, infamously. This is not Latinos, right?
Oh, yes, calling Puerto Rico an island full of trash when it has a massive landfill overflow problem where trash is just bursting from the seams. Yeah, that's beyond the pale, isn't it? But that's the way you want to frame it, because all you are is propaganda.
People apparently like watermelon,
yeah.
I've been told.
I mean, truly,
I like watermelon.
Just like rank racism. And this is not the kind of campaign that you're going to run if you actually are trying to appeal to moderate voters, but they're so high on their own supply. This is a very online campaign where they essentially think that we don't need anybody else. We just need men, we need white guys, and we'll drive out the base. I don't think that that's what's going to win this election. I think that there are a lot of women that are pissed off. And this is the first election since...
Not everybody can be as pissed off as you on an everyday basis, because you are just a sour sack of shite. I don't mean the Iraqi
right
Shiite either.
Half of the population has been stripped away. And there are older women, and that's what I think that Iowa poll reflected, older white women that worry about their granddaughters and their daughters even. And
it represented falsification and election interference.
they say, hey, I've experienced this right my entire life, and it's getting taken away from them. I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris even if I've voted Republican my entire life, even if I'm a registered independent. And that's what Jan Selzer picked up with in Iowa, and that's what I think is going to be the story of this race.
Honest reporting by you.
There's still
this
a
has
long
definitely
way to
come
go,
to fruition.
But, in those blue wall states, in Michigan and Wisconsin and in Pennsylvania, there's going to be a good amount of Republican women or independent women that I think vote in secret to make sure that Kamala Harris ends up being the next president of the United States.
And you think she wins all 7?
I have said that. I mean, I feel like I'm sweating my ass off if I say that, in front of all these people, but because I want it to happen, obviously.
She gonna win all 7. She gonna win.
What I truly think will happen.
Yeah, because you're so smart. We should listen to you.
It's impossible. Vance and Trump are net negatives. Anybody that's analyzing this race honestly and not afraid of Trump voters would favor Harris and Walz in this race.
Yep, totally.
CNN's about to make a projection right now. Trump has already won Florida.
Donald Trump, CNN projects, will win the state of Tennessee as expected with its 11 electoral votes. Missouri will go to Donald Trump. Missouri, as expected, will give Donald Trump 10 electoral votes. Here are two more projections for Trump. Alabama, CNN can project, will go to Donald Trump with its 9 electoral votes. And Oklahoma, CNN projects, will go to Donald Trump.
How you like
with its
them
7
apples,
electoral
Emma?
Votes. We have some projections for Kamala Harris as well. CNN projects that the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, with its 11 electoral votes, as expected, will go to Kamala Harris. CNN.
I was born in Boston. I'm ashamed to state that fact, considering that they elected Elizabeth Warren again.
Can project that Maryland, as expected, with its 10 electoral votes, will go to Kamala Harris. And CNN can project that the District of Columbia, with its 3 electoral votes, can go
DC
to
elites.
Kamala Harris.
3.
Here are the states.
But first, let me ask you about Florida. Are you surprised that they called it this early or no?
A little bit surprised, yeah, sure. Yeah, a little bit.
Just
sure.
speak into, just put the mic down just a little bit right there.
Yeah, a little bit disappointing. I mean, it's expecting about
Should we be concerned at this point? Or is Florida, are red states, and there's no accounting for that?
well, I think we're going to see red mirages in, we're already seeing them in North Carolina and in Georgia because, that's the way it is. Rural voters don't have to wait in lines. Urban voters work, and when they vote, they wait in long lines, and so you get their results in last. And so actually in the next few hours, we're probably going to see some pretty good results for Trump
We are.
and for Republicans.
Oh,
Sorry to say that.
Rick's got one.
Dork.
Yeah.
All right. Not surprising, the Florida Democratic Party, and you can speak to this, John, has essentially abandoned ship, and they've allowed the Republicans to just completely take over that extremely populous state.
Yeah, but the totals were a lot higher than the polling, though. So, I mean, that is a bit worrying, but, it's one state. We'll see.
Shit.
We'll see how things work out. And, we're looking at Georgia. We're looking at North Carolina next. I mean, those are the big ones, the possible gets for Harris. One thing I was encouraged about is the 2nd district of Florida is a very competitive race. Is 50% in. This is like the Tallahassee area. I think it's Neil Dunn is the Republican incumbent. It's really about the only competitive race so far. I think Weigel talked already up by, I think, a point or two. But, I mean, it was surprising. Trying to look for bright spots, right? Look for bright spots for Democrats.
Keep doing it, soy boy.
A very sucky early evening.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
I look forward to that.
Well, I mean, I
The
hope
early
not.
side will suck. And then it'll
Sucky.
get better.
Great word
John,
there,
tell me
Sam
what's gonna
Seder.
happen.
Well, yeah, I mean, as the urban votes come in, it's going to get better, but it's going to take time for that to happen. And so, I mean,
It's gonna take time for that to
for
happen.
a little while, we're going to see a lot of Trump support, a lot of Republican leads. I wish it wasn't that way
What?
because of COVID and everything. And so hopefully we'll see some earlier calls. If Harris can win by margins over, let's say, between 1 and 1.5 in the formerly blue wall states of Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, then, we might get a call maybe tomorrow. I mean, I think we might have calls earlier in Wisconsin and Michigan.
I find his nasally voice very annoying. Just a soy boy through and through.
Of course, hopefully there won't be a polling error in Trump's favor, because...
Well, you said that there's no chance that the Democrats retain the Senate, and that's what I took umbrage with, John.
Yeah, I still feel
I know.
that
How dare
way.
we go against your wishes?
Look for Sal Powell. I mean,
So Allegheny County has reportedly processed around 83% of its mail in over 222,000 ballots. Harris is at 72.1%, and Trump is at 26.6%. But what's amazing, so first of all, the Democratic partisan breakdown is 65.9% for Democrats, meaning there was an increase for her with independent voters. But if Harris is able to even be close to what we're seeing, maybe not in Pennsylvania, but in North Carolina and in Arizona in particular, we're in really, really good shape because some of these polls had double-digit differences, and my contention always has been, John, that you can't have that many split ballots in any realistic manner.
We should say that...
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be looking at Harris's most...
Spit it out,
accessible,
sunshine.
Path to victory, which would be Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. So I'm going to be looking at all three of those states. Pennsylvania should be, coming, very soon.
We have
same with
7%
Michigan.
in for Pennsylvania.
Right.
Harris, again, this is very early. Harris at 73 and Trump at 26. 7%. 7%. Yeah,
Stop the count.
That's so funny. Wow, witty
and the
NPCs.
Ohio
Never
Senate
heard that
race
before.
has 28% in, dead tie. Sherrod Brown is up by less than a percentage point, but still an encouraging sign. And it
Weeks ago, then they got worse in the last month. But he could win. He could win. I don't want to. I want him to win. I'm trying to be objective. I'm trying to play two roles here, like being objective and also being a partisan Democrat, and those are hard. That's a hard balance to make.
There's no such thing as an objective partisan
it makes
Democrat.
You feel good, right?
I mean, for a brief period of time, and then you just you crash.
Yeah, okay. It's to be expected, but it was nice. Usually, if it's like 10%, 15%, I won't mention it. But when it gets to 50%, okay, that's like you mentioned that at that point.
Okay, all right. All right.
Okay.
There we go.
all right, well, John, very well
you
done.
want to play
Thank
him
you
off
very
with
much.
a couple of... What do you got for it? NBC new exit poll. Majority of Texas voters think abortion should be legal.
Killing babies should be legal till the 9th month.
All right, you want some updates?
Yes, please.
Okay, so this is Senate related, but 41% reporting in Ohio. Trump is up by 2 points, but Sherrod Brown is up by 3 against Bernie Moreno.
Ooh, your prediction's going to come through.
So if that result continues, Sherrod Brown would need a significant amount of split tickets, but he has done that many times before, so I'm not that worried about that one, to be honest with you.
I mean, the interesting thing there is he's outpacing Trump in those areas. These
USA! USA! USA!
Mocking.
USA! What's up, everybody?
Rude, insubordinate, and churlish.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, is anyone else not drunk?
What?
Wow.
Oh, are we being pundits tonight?
Oh, yes, very serious.
Oh, cool. Oh, Colin Allred might win. He's not going to fucking win. I left my child behind for this.
That's true.
Did you not
Permanently,
abort
or
them?
I mean,
Isn't
if
that
all
your
goes
job?
well tonight, yes.
Whoa,
Matt,
you're so funny, humorous.
How's everybody feeling? I mean, about the election?
What?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I wasn't saying general.
What you talking about, Willis?
I mean, it's going to be a long night. Look at this.
I'm barely listening as I furiously scroll. So Harris is early votes. They have tabulated this in Lackawanna County. Scranton's home. This will upset one Mr. Joseph Robinette Biden. Harris is up 67-32 in Lackawanna, and Biden had won that by 53.5%. So that would be a lovely cherry on top for me.
Only 26% of the vote
Only
in.
26%. But if she ends up winning Scranton and that area by a larger margin than Biden.
67-32 is huge.
Right, but only 26% in. So that's what I'm hoping for. Just like, another way to rub Biden's face in it. That's always...
Yeah.
That's
Sort of fascinating.
Harris has won 2 states since we last were projected. That's what I'm furiously scrolling, trying to figure out. She's won New Hampshire and Virginia, which... expected.
What's up with CNN over here? They only got her at 27, right? What the hell?
This is. I will say that. So Florida was worse than anticipated for Democrats. So the idea that Florida would have possibly gone blue is such a pipe dream at this point. Trump so far is doing a little bit better in Georgia than we will like. But we'll.
But he's supposed to
bad news is
lose
that
all
the
7
abortion
swing
measure
states.
in Florida has failed.
Now that needed 60%
threshold. Yeah.
What do we know what the?
No final total. That happened like 10 minutes ago. Yeah.
It's fucking
What's that?
nightmarish.
55, you said?
That's a pleasant person that I would
basically
totally want to
misinformation.
date.
I mean, yeah, of course.
All right.
Uncomfortable.
Okay, what do we have coming up? I've got my documents.
I mean, that's pretty devastating in Florida. Like, I just want to name how fucked that is, right?
Completely.
Because we've seen abortion measures pass in far redder states, ostensibly. So, and again, you guys have talked about how shit the Democratic Party is in Florida. I mean, Rick Scott won handily. I was excited because he was running scared after the Puerto Rico comments. That
totally
he was actually kind
scared.
of nervous for his race there, but he won it outright. And so, yeah, we're just going to see a lot more abortion refugees from Florida, and also we're going to see women die. And
we have.
And we already have
Yes.
in that state specifically. So
With lies,
that
with
obviously-
falsifications.
Wisconsin, reminder that when Arizona comes in, we're not going to know Arizona for 48 hours. So just throw that out. But essentially.
For the record, Argentina and France use paper ballots and can count in a single day. And yet a smaller state like Arizona, they want an extra 48 hours for and want us to get used to this being the new normal. No thanks. That just lends itself to potential shenanigans.
That's what we have coming around the pike in minutes.
I want everyone to know just how much Emma and I are going to lib the fuck out if Kamala Harris wins.
Oh, I've already started and she hasn't won. Yeah.
We're just going to go and it's okay to be excited about the first female Blasian president.
The vice president with a big lead. Pennsylvania's not going to end. No matter who wins Pennsylvania, it's not going to end a 30-point race. We just know that as we count more votes. So we'll wait. And
The
try to get
Amish
more
buggies
in
are still on their way,
Pennsylvania.
folks.
This is one of the
Oh
surprises.
yeah, make fun of them. They actually gave Trump the election. The Amish gave Trump the election, but you want to take away food choice and buying directly from the farmer to give those dollars to big agriculture. And then the Amish showed up to vote against Harris, and yet they mock them. They mock the buggies. They mock these people that live these proud lives of contributing to society and producing wonderful goods. But the lefties mock them because they're not on the government dole. If you're on the government dole, then you're kings and queens in their mind.
You see the vice president leading in Kansas, the vice president leading in Missouri, the vice president, even though we've already projected Arkansas, that's just early votes. The votes will come in. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. We're open to surprises here, but we'll keep a look at it. A surprise that has a lot of votes counted so far is Virginia. They're almost up to the halfway mark here, and Donald Trump is ahead.
163 electoral votes will be up for grabs, and we're watching several crucial battlegrounds. CNN's going to bring you this projection right now. CNN projects that Texas will go to Donald Trump.
Yeah.
State of Texas, as expected, Donald Trump with its big 40 electoral votes. CNN also projects that North Dakota will go to Donald Trump, as expected.
Matt.
North Dakota with its 3 electoral votes. 2 more for Trump now. CNN projects battleground.
I'm sorry, no
Wisconsin. Let's look at the
projection in New
electoral
York
map
and Minnesota.
now.
I mean,
Donald Trump has
really fucking milking this, aren't they? Oh,
electoral
come on.
votes. Kamala Harris has 27 electoral
They
votes.
just want these numbers to look
270
like this.
are needed to win. Let's bring you a key race alert. Battleground, Pennsylvania. Kamala Harris in the lead with 64.4% of the vote. Donald Trump has 34.7% of the vote. Kamala Harris in the lead there with 326,000 plus votes.
16%.
Only an estimated 16% of the vote has been counted in Pennsylvania. In battleground Michigan, Kamala Harris in the lead, 54.8% of the vote. Donald Trump with 43.3% of the vote. Kamala Harris with a 55,000 plus vote lead. That's with only an estimated 8% of the vote counted in Michigan. Still very early in Michigan. In battleground North Carolina, Donald Trump in the lead there now, 51.8% of the vote. Kamala Harris with 47.1% of the vote.
I don't like.
Donald Trump's
very,
with a
very
more
good.
than 106,000 vote lead. That's with 39% of the estimated vote counted in battleground North Carolina. In battleground Georgia, Donald Trump in the lead there, 52.8% of the vote. Kamala Harris with 46.6% of the vote. Donald Trump has a healthy 221,000 plus vote lead. That's with an estimated 66% of the vote counted in Georgia. About two-thirds has been counted. In
Ay caramba, Sam.
Virginia, Donald Trump in the lead there now with 49.3% of the vote. Kamala Harris with 48.7%.
That's got to be a little upsetting, isn't it?
334 vote lead. That's with half the vote counted in the Commonwealth of Virginia, 50%
Okay, do
counted
we
there in
accept
Virginia.
these results
In the state of
thus
New
far,
Hampshire,
Sam?
Kamala Harris has 53.6% of the vote. Donald Trump has 45.7% of the vote. Kamala Harris in the lead there by roughly 16,000 votes. That's with about a quarter, 25% of the estimated vote counted in the granite state of New Hampshire. In Ohio, Donald Trump in the lead, 52.9% of the vote. Kamala Harris
Let's see about that Bernie Moreno,
of the vote.
Sherrod
Donald
Brown
Trump
matchup.
with a 197,000 plus vote. That's with half the vote counted in Ohio, 50% of the vote counted in Ohio. Let's go to John King at the Magic Wall. John.
All right, let's just hear what John King says about
Start
this.
with the context, what you just went through. I'm going to wander over to this wall here just to show the race to 270 at the moment. If you're a Republican, you might be saying, wow, this is a rout. If you're a Democrat, you might be saying, oh, my goodness, we should be worried. No. We're early in the night. As Chris Wallace said, I love the analogy, nobody has broken serve yet. As in, every red state here,
close-up on the
Donald
vote
Trump
total
won in
or on
2020
Alaska?
when he lost the White House. Every blue state on the map so far, Joe Biden carried when he won the White House. What don't we have? We don't have Rhode Island. We don't have Connecticut. We don't have New Jersey. We don't have Illinois just yet. Long-time blue states. So as we move west and as the count advances in some of the New York as well, some of the most reliably blue states, this map will change in the near future.
It's just
at least that is
absurd
our
that they're
expectation.
handing the
We'll keep
red
an eye on it.
states, the
That's
clear
path
red
to
states off the
270.
bat, and then it's
there
like, we got to hold
filling
off on
these
New York
states
and New
in
Jersey. You
red
don't
and
know how
blue.
that's.
Does that make you feel a little bit uncomfortable? Is this unfair in your mind that the red states came in earlier because they were such a wallop in Trump's favor and the Democrats are losing support in the formerly blue states, and hopefully they'll continue to in the future?
So let's see, again, an unusual map at the moment, just because the vote count is early, or because we're going to have the most surprising election. That would tell you something huge. So let's come to where we have more votes in these battlegrounds. Again, I just want to check on Virginia again. This is our surprise at the moment. We're up to 50% of the
Harris
vote,
is underperforming.
and you have Donald Trump with a very narrow lead. I did this a moment ago. I just want to do it again for people at home.
She won. but
Most
she's
of the outstanding votes, these circles tell you, the larger the circle, the more outstanding votes we're still waiting to be counted, and the American population. So if you're the vice president, that's part of your base. Here's Donald Trump with a lead, 41% reporting. Again, should the Harris campaign be nervous? Both campaigns will be nervous about battleground North Carolina. It's going to go back and forth. But again, you see, there's still some large pockets of Democratic votes, also some pretty good-sized pockets of Republican votes in a battleground state. This one's going to take a while to sort out, but you see where the outstanding votes are. I didn't get to this last time in Georgia, so let's go down and look at battleground Georgia and bring that up here right now. We're up to 68% of the votes, and you see right there why you're checking in with all your field captains and your precinct people. You see right there, you see those giant circles right there, and a bigger circle, another big circle over here. There are still
We got Georgia, baby.
Deliver that hopium.
Deliver that to Kamala. She gonna win.
I just want to come back and make one more observation here. You see that 242,000 vote lead. It is a little after 9 o'clock on Tuesday night. If you go back to 2020,
No fully
Donald Trump was leading
completed
Georgia by
counties counted in
244,000
Michigan,
votes
none in
at 9 o'clock
Wisconsin,
on
none in
Tuesday night,
Pennsylvania.
election night in 2020. It was
Hold on.
244,000 votes
and I'm
then.
saying that to myself as much
votes.
as I'm saying this to all of you guys. Stand back and stand by. Thank you.
Wait, did you want to talk about this one right here?
If you want to talk about it.
Well, Georgia looks a little bleak until you see that map, and then you don't know. Apparently, in Fayette County, Georgia, so
Spit it
far,
out,
with
sunshine.
93% of the votes in, Trump is underperforming relative to 2020. Right now, it's 51% Trump, 48% Harris, 93% of the votes in. Trump did almost 2 points higher than he is right now in 2020 in that county.
Right.
You're talking about one county.
But
you talking
North
about one
Carolina,
county,
just
boy.
to give some good news, North Carolina has some positive signs. I mean, thank you, but Charlotte, Mecklenburg, only 6% is in. So, and Harris is down by 4. 5.
Aww.
I'm just saying. So this is what we said was going to happen when we started the show, but it's also
because we're going to go red mirage.
It's also
extremely painful.
Painful.
The polls were right.
Good.
And how close it was going to be.
Yeah. Look, maybe I'm not going to be.
Come on, retract.
Ready to concede until the fat lady sings.
Yeah,
but
no, never. When do we riot?
Plenty of fat
When's
people on the
riot?
left-hand side of the aisle.
I'm excited for that. No, look, I had Greg Palast on my show, and Palast has been covering the amount of voter purging that's happened specifically in Georgia. The number of people who have been purged from the voter rolls specifically.
You mean like illegal aliens and felons? Oh no, we want to get them back. Plus all the dead people. How the election will swing depends on how those in the graveyard will vote.
Obviously black Georgians who've just disappeared, and they have to contest that. So, like, there's a lot of voter suppression happening in Georgia. It would not surprise me.
Cheating.
Brian Kemp has made it a point to never let Georgia go blue ever again. And they've steadily purged these rolls for the last, 4 years.
Good. I hope Georgia never goes
and
blue
increasingly
again.
in the last few months.
Okay.
We should.
That's nice.
It's from the election center.
Y'all don't have anything to say because you don't have any good news to report. Georgia's never going to go Democrat again.
Okay.
Let's try and bring Digby. I don't understand what you're asking, Bradley.
I called into the phones. Can you...
I see. Okay. Sorry.
Oh, I see.
So, okay, I'm a little less panicked. I'm looking at the.
4 years
sorry.
ago. It's a county where, if you want to win Michigan, Joe Biden won by 154,000 votes.
Subscribe
the
to
home
the
state
channel,
of Mr. Tapper
guys.
still at 20%. It's bumped up just a little bit there. So what are we looking at? Let's move it up just a little bit. We have some votes. If there is an impact from the Donald Trump Madison Square Garden event, where so many insults were made about Puerto Ricans and about Mexicans and about Latino and Hispanic Americans, if you're going to...
Yep. Again, they said that Puerto Rico has an actual trash problem. A comedian that wasn't even associated with the Donald Trump campaign, an insult comic, went out on a limb and pointed the fact out because he actually cares about Puerto Rico. But y'all framing it as denigrating Puerto Ricans and making fun of them because they're from the island.
See an impact. This is one of the places you might see it.
Would have been quicker
here.
just to say
And that's
who
why both
wasn't
Trump and
offended
Harris
if
went to Allentown in the
I
final
wasn't
days.
offended.
The
No
flip
sane
side.
person was offended.
She's doing
Pick
well
one.
in Pennsylvania.
Cuyahoga County, along the border, northern border of Pennsylvania. Donald Trump getting 71% of the...
And I don't know, Emma, you can characterize where we are in the evening. We're in the part of the evening where the anxiety, at least for me, is seeping in. And
Let it seep, baby. There's going to be more of
At
it.
this time, maybe people will have gotten sick enough of Orange Julius Caesar that they
Ooh, so
will,
clever.
actually vote in larger numbers against him. And it looks like we're at another nail biter. And it's probably going to come down to what everybody has said it was going to come down to the whole time, which was the
Trump
blue
winning all
wall,
7
and maybe
swing states.
pick up 1 or 2 maybe of the other battleground states, but maybe not. I mean, well, if Trump wins, I'll drop out and go raise chickens somewhere and forget everything,
Honest to God, that would be a better use of your life than worrying about politics in general, especially when you have somebody who's actually cleaning up the United States and your leftist impulses are going to try to prevent him from doing so. Raising chickens is actually a very noble profession. You get fresh eggs, fresh meat. It is something that I would recommend.
I mean, I would be tempted to just, leave the whole thing and not think about it. I mean, I'm at an age where maybe I can just eke out the rest of my life and not have to, and that'll be the end of that. But, I can't do that. I mean, obviously, it'd be probably impossible for me to do it anyway. So
Then why bring it
just
up?
as being someone who's observing politics, I'll tell you, orienting myself to a Harris win is fairly easy, I think. Right. I can sort of see the difficulties of dealing with with a fractious Congress, maybe if the Democrats don't pull off the House this time, which is entirely possible, that's also very close, and the Senate does not look very promising.
Look at Emma.
We've been there before.
Look at Emma, guys.
And that's just something that perhaps we can deal with. If Trump wins again, I'm frankly terrified. And as I orient myself to that, I honestly don't exactly...
These people are terrified because the media, the corporate media that runs for the uniparty, that basically siphons off your tax money that you pay in to the federal government and wastes it or lines their pockets with it, they have convinced you that Trump is the evil. And he is evil, but only for them, because he's going to come for their pocketbook and for their ability to control the nation.
I honestly don't know where I fit in there, because I'm a little bit scared of what's going to happen to people who do what I do. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, this is not
we don't know what
I'm
you
not
do.
in a profession where, I've said a lot of really mean things about Donald Trump over the last 20 years.
Because you've been brainwashed
so,
and you're a leftist.
I honestly don't know what to think about that. And I worry, obviously, for the country and for the world and for myself. I mean, what about you? What do you think about that? I mean, you must.
I do, and I'm thinking about it a little bit more.
We have some unfortunate news from Decision Desk that Harris has
Unfortunate?
lost North Carolina.
Aw, you had so much hope.
I'm not surprised.
So,
but he was supposed to lose all 7 swing states. He was supposed to sweep.
Indications are that she's overperforming in Georgia swing states and the Atlanta suburbs, but definitely not feeling as good as I was in the lead up, obviously.
You're a sad person. I don't think you ever really, truly feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forgive me for interrupting again, but many of these leftists gain internal satisfaction because they champion for those who are less fortunate than them. Many unfortunate people that they would claim that I've met living abroad are far happier than these ass wipes. And they should be jealous of them because they have internal fortitude and can actually produce something valuable for society. But this is how they gain significance and connection. It is all external, it doesn't come from within.
To be honest with you, I haven't spent too much time contemplating a Trump victory because I think it's going to be pretty bleak.
No, it's going to be glorious.
We'll have a couple of weeks in the event that there is a Trump victory to start to sort of determine, where we push. Part of that is a function of
I'm not
who wins
there
the
yet.
House or the Senate. No, I know.
We'll see. I still think she's in good position in Pennsylvania, but yeah, I hear you on that front.
That's what I'll be doing, is pointing the finger.
Heather, in the event that Harris does lose, what do you think the narrative will be? I guess it's.
I think that the narrative that comes out of this is that Donald Trump is, I don't know, a magical god from another planet or something. This is like this guy, the ability of him to continually be able to capture the imagination of these tens of millions of Americans with the most bizarre and grotesque and un-American, it's beyond, do not understand his dynamic. And the only explanation for it, I think, that we're going to end up seeing is that there is just something incredibly, magical about him, and that these people are.
He is a magical god, and none of us are as smart as you, so we are hypnotized by Donald Trump. Not that he actually cares about America or rectifying the wrongs that have been committed by the Democrats, for example, stifling free speech, lying to us, racializing the country. It couldn't have anything to do with that. It's that he's some magical creature that can hypnotize those who are less intelligent than this caller.
Are, in his thrall. He is got a certain kind of charisma as a cult leader that I don't think we've ever seen before. No, we've never seen
that
it before
applies to the
with a
Democrats
country as
much more.
powerful as the United States. And not just kind of, we are definitely in a historical moment. If we're not able to beat this back this time, if he was able to come back from his defeat and come back by absolutely perpetrating this big lie of his that he actually won last time and convincing tens of millions of Americans that actually happened, I think we're in, and you combine that with the disinformation. Why am I sitting here, having this sort of sinking feeling
Heather,
the way that I am?
We'll see. Like, I'm trying not to, because late deciders are reportedly breaking for Harris by double digits. So the red mirage situation
it's all going to come around.
Could be very
Just
much
get those
more,
pre-printed, uncreased ballots
pronounced at this
by
time.
the truckload.
But obviously, North Carolina being called that early for Trump is like a huge gut punch.
Good.
I'll listen to.
Although I'm going to say Decision Desk is the only outlet that's calling North Carolina. I just want to
They
put
can
that
retract
out
it.
there because
They
people
can
are
retract
saying
it.
that there's still 54% or only 54% of the expected vote has been counted in North Carolina. The New York Times isn't calling it.
That's another thing to contemplate here. Is, the Republican Party has gone, it is now full fascist, and I don't think there's any doubt
fascist.
about that. That doesn't change.
Completely.
The Republican.
It couldn't be the corporations that were manhandled by the Biden Justice Department and the administration, threatened into acquiescing to their wishes in terms of, like, for example, Twitter silencing critics of the administration, or silencing those who stated that maybe, just maybe, the virus might have come from the Wuhan laboratory that was researching viruses, considering that's where it emanated from. And that was an offense that was deemed racist. And we are the fascists, despite the fact that government is manipulating these private corporations and acting in unison with them.
The Republican Party is now full fascist, and we're going to be dealing with that for a very long time to come. I'm afraid it's not that won't happen with it being this close.
So
they're going to.
Well, at least maybe Seltzer was onto something. Harris is up in Iowa with the 19%.
Yes. I love it. I've been waiting to see that one. I've been waiting to see if that
keep waiting.
So 19% reporting, that's not insignificant.
In Polk County.
No. Before it said 19%.
Sorry, just here.
But
19 or
19? 19.
Oh, okay.
19. I know, that's why I'm hedging, but yeah. If Polk
You should have
County
hedged for your
83% is reporting,
state sweep that you predicted.
The audio.
Shout out to
taking a little nip as needed, and just trying to get through the night.
Good.
All right, well, Nate Cohn does point out, apparently, look, like, we have more data from Georgia and North Carolina than we do from the 3 states that she needs to win to be victorious: Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. I'm stealing it from Cohn, but Pennsylvania looks good right now, so we'll see.
Looks very good.
And you still got all those.
She's going to win Pennsylvania. She's going to win.
Well, Heather.
All right.
I hope
all these people are excited. She's going to win
speak,
Pennsylvania, though, so you don't have anything to worry about.
Oh,
we're happy.
Yes. Yes, I do too. Or at least, not suicidal. That's the most important thing. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. We'll all be fine. Everything will be fine.
We'll all be fine.
But yes, keep the faith, because honestly, this is exactly what's been happening. So, we made 2016. That, remember, Donald Trump and the Republicans haven't really won an election since 2016, so they're not going to win this one either. All right?
Nope.
Thanks,
She's right.
Comfort.
All right, Heather, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Hey, hang in there, guys. Hang in.
Any updates, Emma?
Not really. The reality of the race right now is that it's not
you was
the
wrong.
blowout that we could have, anticipated or.
No, it is the blowout that we anticipated.
In Pennsylvania,
at least me, who bet on Donald Trump a substantial amount of money.
We only have 33% in, so we'll see. And a lot of people are criticizing Decision Desk's decision to call North Carolina for Harris preemptively.
They can retract it. Come on, baby, retract
it. Trump preemptively. It could still go for Trump still, but we just don't know at this point.
And it will.
So a little bit more positive news out of Pennsylvania, by the way. Harris seems to be all but holding Biden's margins in the state, but I'm very cautious about giving positive updates outside of that
because you've been smacked a couple times.
And like we told ourselves rationally that this was probably how it was going to go. And
no,
yet,
you didn't.
As I'm sitting here, I feel like I'm going to pass out.
Good.
So we're all good. We're all in it together.
It's a way out of misery.
Harris fell below that Biden number. There's room for her to drop further here. And again, just 2 points in Fulton County offsets a lot of the good Democrats might have done themselves in those other counties I just showed you. So see what happens there. We also have, look at this, Douglas, Cobb County. We also have, look at this,
Sherrod, sorry. Right now in Ohio, 70% in. Sherrod Brown is down by almost 6 points.
Oh, I thought he was going to win for sure, Emma. He was going to win for sure.
Too early to call as opposed to too close to call.
That's good. I like that.
Too close to call.
What do you like? I like it too, maybe.
Too early to call.
I like it.
Okay.
You don't like that.
Accepted, but it sounds better too early to call.
Does it really?
Thank you.
So this is just, again, for my own sanity as well as just hopium, as they say. But the
Plenty
blue
of hopium
wall
available.
is really what Harris does need to win the presidency. Although if Moreno wins in Ohio, that's a huge issue for the Democrats. But Harris is still up by 4 points with 35% in Pennsylvania in. She's up by 8 in Michigan with 13% in. She's up by 4 in Wisconsin with 29% in. If she wins those 3, she wins the presidency. That is a good result, but I'm disappointed in what I'm seeing out of Ohio and the fact that Texas
You was
and
wrong
Florida
about
were
Sherrod
that
Brown?
quickly called. So it's definitely
And
not
Florida.
the theory that some of us were floating as of right now. We'll see. Some of us, aka myself, but we'll see with late deciders.
But here, props to Emma for taking the swing.
Here comes
you
some
gotta
hopium.
swing, y'all.
Swing at what? You swung and missed. You swung and missed so hard on an ephus pitch that was so obviously coming. And yet you blindly swung based on party loyalties and didn't touch the giant beach ball that was being thrown towards your bat.
You can't hit the balls you're not swinging at, so I appreciate it.
I don't have Alan Lichtman's 13 keys or whatever.
But you guys see, Sam this morning was like, Emma go first. You know what I'm saying? Emma had to go first. Emma had to say what her prediction was.
Misogyny.
Sam was like,
Misogyny.
maybe.
I call misogyny.
Traps abound.
You all so funny.
I'm very surprised by and bummed out by what's happening in Ohio with Moreno being up. It's
not me. I actually won $900 on that bet.
We'll see. We'll see.
This is actually, you see red right now, this has been a growth area for Democrats.
Iowa.
There's a lot of fast-growing suburbs in here. Again, demographically very conducive to the Democratic coalition.
All right,
Right outside, right across the river
Trump
from
won
Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Iowa.
So Democrats...
What was the, who called it?
NBC just called it for Trump.
Oh, but she was going to win Iowa.
So it turns
how
out
depressing.
Stelzer may have
But
been
that's your
an
normal
outlier.
state, isn't it?
All right, well, good news is Democrats are doing well in New York, which is the opposite of what we thought was happening.
You hear the question? Did you want to answer?
I did not. I was hyperventilating backstage.
I believe it.
Half joke.
Okay.
Yeah. What was the question? No?
It's okay.
Okay. All right, we're having fun.
It was at this time of the night that the mariachi band in 2016 was consoling me about the loss, but I still maintain hope. But Pennsylvania...
But beyond this election, and the returns are not what I anticipated, I thought they'd be driving up numbers better.
Just say I
with
was
women.
wrong.
The Democrats do have to reckon with the fact that they're not offering a ton materially for young men, right? And
but what are that's the question. What are you supposed to offer? And that's an interesting question for men. It's like,
How about
What are you
opportunity and
supposed
not
to offer
denigrating
other
men at every
than,
single opportunity and
here's
telling
an
them that
economic
they're
platform
toxic
that
masculinity?
won't trigger you because it deliberately targets women or people of color. Like, how
Exactly
are you
that. Exactly
to
that.
onboard them onto this cause?
We're talking about like the Trump supporting young guys. Like there is a contingent of young men in this country who are literally bothered by the fact that their
called toxic
identity
masculinity?
is not first and foremost.
Yeah.
Like they
No,
are actually
that you don't let us
pissed
be.
off about it. And somehow they
foremost.
come across as the tough guy, like bravado type thing, and I don't get that. Like it's just there's a misunderstanding between like just a certain personality of type of young men in this country that is literally bothered to hear that like women or LGBTQ people or literally anyone who isn't a straight white male is being, put first and foremost.
Because we don't want you to put them first based on their identity. We want it done based on merit, and we want to be stopped being told that toxic masculinity is this horrific thing, despite the fact that it's what keeps society afloat, and that you need both the yin and the yang from female and male energies. This is just stupidity that you want to put LGBTQ people and people of color first. No, I don't care what you do. I don't care who you are. Let's do it based, once again, on merit. That's not too hard, is it?
And it's the most pussy-ass bullshit I've ever heard in my life. The
No, I
fact
think
that
you're
they're
referring
the
to
ones
yourself.
calling people soy boys and beta males
Like you?
is the most
Does
ridiculous
that hurt?
thing in my
Because
life.
it's what you are.
The fact that my identity as a straight white male is not first and foremost, I could not give a fucking shit.
Yeah.
What cuck-ass behavior that is for
What a
any
straw
of you
man
guys
that
out there who
is.
feel that way.
Did you just
Seriously.
say cunt-ass behavior?
Cuck-ass
Oh, okay, because
behavior.
I was about to defend.
So
I was about to defend cunt-ass behavior. Really, though.
Kamala has won California, which it will be a big. At least the map looks a little bit better in terms of totals when we have that on the docket. So.
Let's hear.
Hi. So I'm a journalist and I'm a media literacy educator. So what's on my mind a lot right now is disinformation.
That's true. That's all I'm saying. I'm a leftist, but...
No, I think people might have been. They called Ohio for Moreno. Yeah, people might have been reacting to Bernie Moreno being projected as the winner against Sherrod Brown.
They're saying Brown lost, if you didn't hear. Yeah.
That's really. I was so confident that would not happen.
Yeah, but you was wrong. You was wrong, Emma. What you got to say now, Emma?
Well, no, I was completely wrong that Sherrod Brown would maintain that seat. So
Yeah,
that
you
is,
was.
super concerning.
Yeah, you was. Crash out, baby.
And now Bob Casey's down in Pennsylvania. So.
Oh, that's so sad.
Hey, all of you shut the
Fod in section B has a question. Let's lift up the vibe.
I want to stay longer to be with all you guys, but I have to go throw up. So.
Totally understands.
I'm so jealous.
Totally understand. I mean, nausea is appropriate, I think, at this point in the evening.
Well, I can give, I think, a positive update. Okay, so the Democrats have their first flip, apparently, of the evening. John Mannion in New York 22nd has won the Democrat.
Mannion, it's strange that there was a sense that I think we had that New York and California might be difficult.
Yeah.
And that the Midwest might be easier for Democrats, and it's not working out that way whatsoever.
No, it's looking like the whole theory about pollsters hurting that I completely bought into was not correct.
Because you ain't smart.
Right now, Trump has now, the Times just called him winning North Carolina. So it's going to come down to the blue wall states and the Sun
All
Belt.
about the blue wall.
The good news is that Harris is doing
Fine. She's doing
in
fine.
the blue wall states and
What are doing
overperforming
fine.
thus far in Arizona.
I think she wins Nevada, and like when I look at it and I talk it out loud, if she wins those 3 blue wall states, she wins the presidency, and then there's the cushion of Nevada and Arizona that we'll see. But still, it's depressing. Like, after all of that, with the late deciders, with the freaking Nazi rally at Madison Square Garden.
They keep
for
repeating
it to be
that.
this close, with abortion on the ballot, with January 6th. You know, it's the Democratic Party has to reckon with itself. But if you have a question,
Sad,
right up.
horrible people.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking at right there.
I like your optimism.
Is that how that came out?
No, I'm not feeling good right now.
No, me neither.
I don't think you're. No, but I think you're. I hope I'm wrong, but I think you're dependent on the blue wall states. It's not. I don't know.
Wisconsin. 1 or 2 more questions. Come on up, folks. We're going to go to about 12:15 or so. The race is not going to be.
The positives are the Democrats are saying
He can't
go
even
to
say
sleep,
it.
You're not going to know anything.
Is that a positive?
Until tomorrow.
Sleep.
Yep.
It reminds me of 2020, but I also she's underperforming Biden in many ways.
Wait,
so.
what did it remind you of?
2020.
Okay, but not 2016.
No, not well.
Let's keep the hope.
Anyway, what's your name?
Boy, what a depressed person.
Hi, my name is Violet. I'm from Queens.
Yeah.
Yes, local.
About to cry, aren't you?
Wish I was feeling better right now. It's kind of weird to have people get to vote on whether you get osteoporosis at age 28.
What?
Because I'm a trans woman, and okay.
Another super healthy mind that we're dealing with here.
Collecting my thoughts.
Applaud the transness. You are so worthy because of your identity. Because
a couple
you
years ago,
have a disturbed
kind of at
brain.
the height of the Republicans' sort of campaign against trans rights for the 2022 midterms, I was assaulted on the subway. I was earlier in my transition. Man saw me in a skirt, didn't like that, called me some choice slurs, and hit me. It was a day before my birthday, and it was a really bad time. It was not fun. But the next day, well, it wasn't the next day. It was the following Monday. I had been kind of out of the swing of listening to y'all's show. But
and then I got back into the cult.
And the reason I tell the story is because allies are really a dime a dozen, right? Everyone wants to be an ally. No one wants to be like that guy.
I don't want to be an ally.
I mean, except for a few people, right?
I
But
don't.
advocates
I want to judge you based on your
are
merit.
really special. Second, I want to give some good news because we've had none of that tonight. So I just want to let you guys know that we have the first ever out trans person elected to Congress tonight in Sarah McBride in Delaware.
So Delaware has a mental problem. The fact that this is like what they did in Los Angeles, where they saw Rick Caruso, a fully capable Democrat who was on the ballot, and they ended up voting for Karen Bass because they had to defer to the black woman, the black lesbian woman. Anybody who votes for somebody just based on their identity is completely lost.
And as someone who was deeply closeted during the Bush administration, I can't imagine what it would have meant to see someone like her in a position of power. It's beautiful,
like
incredible. My heart is so full for that. I also just want to, again, as Violet said, you guys are so good on trans issues. I am so appreciative. Emma, Francesca, I really want you guys to know that I really appreciate having two
cis women who are vocal.
Took this week off for this event, election stress, informing you that you have friends on the East Coast, things like that. But if Kamala wins this election, I'm going to have to deal with everything that I dealt with when Biden won in 2020. All the people I work with.
And more. She's a woman. She's a black woman too.
Oh yeah, it's
Yes,
because we're all misogynistic
actually,
and
that is part of
racist.
it, because all of the people that I work with that typically vote Republican and whatnot, who are down the rabbit hole, and I know this because there's a guy that I sometimes work with that has one of those like autographed Rush Limbaugh coffee tumblers, and he has Newsmax on one of his computer screens.
Oh my God, no! It's so scary.
Exactly, it is cringy and weird, the amount of people I work with that support that guy. And yet, if Kamala wins, I'm going to return to work next week listening to all of them whine to a greater degree than before.
But don't worry, you don't have to deal with that. That's the good
It doesn't
news.
involve drinking on the job.
Oh, Democrats are so clever. Oh my God, their jokes are so amazing.
Yes, yeah.
You might not have to worry about that problem.
We'll see. Look,
Good
Bingo.
problem to have. Let's put it that way.
It's a good problem to have, and we're not going to know the state of the race. Like, it's easy to get freaked out, but we'll see.
Remind me
Come
your name
on.
again. So when I go on Piers Morgan, and I know I'm
You make an
facing
idiot of
nothing but,
yourself?
like,
I've seen
three
you.
right-wing ghouls.
Oh
who
yeah,
are
we're all
just
ghouls,
after
right?
Their money and nothing else. Have fun.
Oh yeah, we're after
Have
freedom.
one moment of
Freedom,
fun.
bitch.
Like, you don't have to be mad, you don't have to clown on them, but just one little line that you've got, that you had in your back pocket, that you had fun with, that it was funny to you, that opened a conversation, or maybe you got them on, you know? And that's fun for you. You're on your own little bullshit Piers Morgan panel and have fun with it. That's my only thing, is like,
What an unlikable woman. Wow. And I honestly don't even know what she's talking about.
if we didn't have fun with this, I
They're
wouldn't do
demented.
it anymore, right? But it's fun to clown on the right. And it's fun to beat them in the realm of ideas, beat them in the realm of legislation.
Which you never do.
It's fun to beat them on all levels, but you gotta work with them. But just have a little bit of fun, you know, and just a little smile on that. So whatever that looks like to you.
Depressed
All right.
person
Keep the faith, John.
advocating for
Thank you
fun.
very much.
All right, folks. Well, we're going to give it a couple more minutes.
Not looking good, is it, Sammy?
Not the way I wanted to wrap up the evening. This is going to go.
You can have fun with
late
it, though,
into the
Sam.
night and probably
Not
into
really.
tomorrow morning. I think, if we're lucky. I think things don't look great. And
Understatement.
all I can tell you, I won't be on the show for the next couple of days. As I mentioned, no, my mother passed away, so I'm going to be going to a funeral. But I think it's important for people to understand. Like the oldest person in the room, probably after me, or second to me, said this is an ongoing fight, and it's something that you have to engage in, and there's going to be, I think, disturbing periods. This country has gone through very disturbing periods.
Yes, the last 4 years under Biden and Obama. And I voted for
out of
Obama
those
twice, and I'm
periods,
ashamed
good
of
things
it.
have happened. We've talked about Trump's rally in Madison Square Garden. It's
The good one, the fun one?
The last America First rally happened in the late 30s, and 85 years ago. And years later, we have, as a kid, and sometimes it's darkest before the dawn.
And boy, was that
we may
ever
be
the
going
case.
to one of those periods.
When
We
it
may
looked like
be,
Trump
but
got
if
shot
Harris
and went
does
down.
end up winning this by a slimmer margin than we would have hoped. This is also.
She's gonna win all 7
because
swing
if Donald
states.
Trump wins. The Supreme Court will be right wing for the rest of my lifetime.
Good.
And probably a lot of people in this.
No, just
The Supreme
freedom
Court
oriented, not
can't
even right wing.
reach the end of our lifetimes. Like,
if
Whether
this
she
is
wins
how
or
it
not,
goes.
but,
Don't worry, y'all
I
can
think-
stack the
Nine,
courts.
but not
You
yet.
cheat.
Okay.
Yeah, like there's no world where the Supreme Court is a functioning institution that allows
It
progress.
is a
Like,
functioning
that's something we
institution.
need to organize against as far as, and I mean, maybe Trump winning and stacking it even more makes that obvious to people, but it's a non-starter. We're gonna be underwater.
Totally. But we'll see. We should know some more tomorrow, but not exactly the tone we want to leave you guys with, but you know.
You can still buy Sam Cedar a drink. Club soda and tequila is what he
I
prefers.
will not be accepting any more.
And buy some
drinks.
merch, guys.
Palestine.
Free Palestine. That movement continues.
Yeah.
Hang in there.
All hail Hamas. Hamas
Still a
nicks.
chance, but again, you know, the regardless of who wins this
It
election,
was Trump, just to
organizing is always
break it
going
to
to be necessary, but it's going to be a tense couple of days, and then hopefully, well, we'll
4
see.
years.
That's what you go to? Hamas? Free Palestine, Hamas?
We'll be on tomorrow.
Those murderers?
And Thursday, and Friday, and then back Monday, and Tuesday, and Wednesday, and you get the picture. When's the next live show? Not sure. All right, drive carefully. Thanks so much for coming out.
Thanks, guys.
You're about to be detained. Because you guys.
Might I remind you guys that they predicted 6 of the 7 swing states, Sam did, would go to Kamala, and that Emma predicted all 7 swing states plus Iowa would go to her. Do you want to continue to listen to these sad people? Have you ever met a person on the left that was genuinely a happy person? You don't, because anybody that's looking for continual progress is missing the point that life is lived here in the now, today, and how you feel today is what matters. So you have to tune yourself in to that joy rather than looking always out into the future where things are going to be better. That holds true for any single person, but the progressives are always looking forwards to the utopia that they dream of, and everything that they do is full with errors because they are so high on their own supply that they believe that they have no faults in their thinking, and thus they are going to progress their way there, and they're never happy in the moment, and that was definitely shown by Emma Vigeland, this horrific, sad person. Could you imagine being married to such a shrill person? And this fakeness from Francesca beside her. Again, these are not happy people. So be happy that Trump won and that we have the opportunity to set America correct again and to move towards meritocracy and not to have our money going to causes like DEI in Serbia or transgender operas in Peru. This is what we have the opportunity to reset and make the world a better place and a happier one. So I wish you all out there tremendous happiness and that we can relive these moments where Trump won and these morons, as their predictions demonstrate, lost. God bless each and every one of you out there and have a fantastic day. Thumb up the video, share it, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Peace out.